So this is my Arcanite Magician. This is my Shadoll Arcanite Magician Assault Mode deck. So obviously Arcanite Magician Assault Mode. I use Arcane Apprentice because it gets me Assault Mode activate. Obviously, it's a 2-star tuner. I have Shadoll Falcon. Yeah, this is obviously a Shadoll version. Shadoll Falcon is a 2-star tuner, so I can use it for synchroing into Arcanite Magician or Black Rose or any other 7-star synchro. It has a flip effect. Target one Shadoll monster in your graveyard, special summon face on defense, except for a copy of itself. If this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can special summon itself face down defense. And you can only apply one of these effects. You could do either the flip or the send effect. Can't do both, and you can only activate either one of those effects only once per turn. That applies to all the Shadoll's main deck monsters. Shadoll Hedgehog, when this card is flipped, add a spell or trap, Shadoll spell or trap from your deck to your hand. When this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Shadoll spell or, when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Shadoll monster from your deck to your hand. So basically, it's a Rhoda. And Falcon is basically like a wolf if you send it from the deck to the graveyard. Shadoll Beast, flip. Draw 2 cards, discard a card. If you discard a Shadoll monster, obviously you will get that Shadoll monster's effect. If this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can draw a card. Basically, it's a Upstart Goblin without your opponent gaining 1,000. Shadoll Dragon, flip. Target one card on your opponent's side of the field, return it to the hand. And since it's not a destruction effect, Stardust can't stop it. Plus, there's some monsters that can't be destroyed by card effects or by battle, so this is a good card to use against that. If this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you could target one spell or trap card on the field and destroy it. So it's an MST. Shadoll Lizard. If this card is flipped, you can target one monster on the field and destroy it. Man-Eater Bug. If this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, and you can send one Shadoll card from your deck to the graveyard. Card, not just monsters, so you can send the spells and traps to the graveyard if you need them in the graveyard so you can get them back. I typically use Shadoll Lizard to send the monsters because the idea is to thin the deck out. I'm trying to draw my spells and traps, so thinning out my deck so I can draw my spells and traps is my goal. So that's what I typically do. I send Shadoll Lizard and then send a Shadoll monster and then get that Shadoll monster's effect. It thins out the deck, so that's what I do with it. Shadoll Fusion. You can only activate one of these per turn. You can obviously fusion summon a Shadoll monster using this card, and it does activate the Shadoll's effects. So once you send to the graveyard to activate, if your opponent has a monster that was summoned from their extra deck or summoned from an extra deck, you can play this card. You can send materials from your deck to the graveyard to summon a Shadoll Fusion monster. So that's pretty awesome. Again, thinning out your decks. One of the monsters you'll want to send from your deck to the graveyard is Shadoll Lizard because he'll let you send another Shadoll monster to the graveyard. So that takes 3 monsters. That takes 3 monsters out your deck for just the cost of playing 1 card. Instant Fusion. It will let you bring out Madrash. It's a 5-star. You can use this 5-star with the 2-star to make Arcanite Magician or Moon Rose or Black Rose Dragon. Also, the monster that's summoned by this counts as an official fusion summon, so you can call the Haunted, especially if you don't synchro with it. The monster will die at the end of your turn, which will activate Madrash's effect, and she will get you back something like Shadoll Fusion from the graveyard, for example, or any of the traps. And then you can obviously call Haunted back from the field. From the graveyard back to the field, and you get the effect of it cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. Neither player can special summon more than once per turn. So that slows down XYZ plays, synchro plays. If this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can target one Shadoll spell or trap card in your graveyard and add that target to your hand. Obviously, I already said that. MST, red screen, staples, you know what to do with them. Assault Mode activate, because that's how you make Arcanite Magician Assault Mode. Call the Haunted, because that's synergy with all the Shadoll monsters. I typically like to Call the Haunted Shadoll Lizard, because he'll let me send a Shadoll monster from my deck to the graveyard, again thinning out the deck. And a good target would be Shadoll Falcon, because he'll special summon himself, so you have a monster to defend you if Call the Haunted is being destroyed, of course. Typically you might just Call the Haunted during opponent's end phase, bring out Lizard. Lizard will send Falcon to a graveyard. Falcon will go on your field face down. Then your turn, you flip Falcon, bring back any Shadoll monster, doesn't matter, whatever is in your graveyard, and then you can go into a synchro play or XYZ play, whatever you do, right? Foolish Burrow, really good in this deck, because basically it becomes other cards, like you'll get other effects out of it, right? Here's the example: you play Foolish Burrow, right? Send Shadoll Falcon. Shadoll Falcon will special summon itself face down defense mode. So essentially, it's like a 1-for-1 or a Monster Reborn, or just a shallow grave, in a way. It lets you summon a monster, so basically it becomes a monster summoner. And then of course the fact that Falcon can bring back any of the Shadoll monsters, that's essentially like a Monster Reborn effect, so it basically becomes a Monster Reborn, right? If you send Hedgehog, you can add any Shadoll monster from your deck to your hand, so basically it becomes a Rhoda, Reinforcement Army, right? If you send Shadoll Beast, it becomes an Upstart Goblin, because you get to draw a card, so you thin out your deck a little bit faster, right? Shadoll Dragon becomes Foolish Burrow becomes an MST, right? Send it to a graveyard, pop back row. Shadoll Lizard, basically Foolish Burrow will become a Foolish Burrow that can send spells and traps, as long as there's Shadoll spells and traps. But typically what I do is I use Foolish Burrow to send Shadoll Lizard, then I use Lizard to send any of the Shadoll monsters. That way it thins out the deck faster, deck thinning, so I can get to my spells and traps faster. Gachi in case you need him. Zenmei in case you need him. Exotonite because he's broken. Number 1/1 because he's broken. Black Rose because you can make him and you might need to clear the field. Moonlight Rose Dragon has good effects, and it's a light, so you can make Nephilim if you need to. 3 Madresh because you can fuse this for days, and instant fusion, of course. So you need 3 of them. Shadoll Nephilim. You can make them with the spell card from your deck more often than not. That's typically what you'll do, is you use Shadoll Fusion second effect to make this, just so you don't lose much hand advantage, right? Plus it has when it's summoned, special summon, you can send a Shadoll card from your deck to the graveyard. If this card battles a special summon monster at the start of the damage step, destroy that monster, so basically it has a catastrophe effect, and it has a if sent to the graveyard effect. You can target Shadoll spell card from your graveyard and add it to your hand. Even as material, you'll get the effect of this. Same goes for Madresh, you'll get the effect for this, just like all the other Shadolls. And of course 3 Arcanite Magician, because this is the Arcanite Magician Salt Mode deck, and it's light, so it helps you make Nephilim. And removing counters to pop cards is good, and it gets 2 spell counters, so you can remove 2 and pop 2 cards before you turn it into Assault Mode or before you fuse with it. And that is the end of the deck profile.